Love them knives channel. LTK. Ah, yes. The Massdrop Orca. Eric Ochs design. Oh, baby, it's a real good one. Both ways. And when I say both ways, I mean G10 and marbled carbon fiber. Now, of course, we got to put this one in front of the camera first because it is spectacular. I liked it so well when I saw it come up on the drop that I got 2 of them. The only thing is I didn't buy 2 of them. I only bought 1 of them. This one is Martin Whitney over in the Netherlands, and he sent me the money, says, get me this one. And of course, he went high society. You see that? With the Moku tie. I guess this is the purple, because they have blue Moku tie, purple Moku tie, and I think this is the purple Moku tie. I believe. And it's satin finish. So I got, at least I got the opportunity to see both. So here is your working class Joe, which was in my budget, barely. Because my money comes and goes. So I've got my drought times and then I've got my, monsoons. So there we go. Stonewash. Green. I almost got the blue. Check that out. With the gold, it's like, I don't know. I thought the green was a little richer color with the contrast on the green, so I went like that. You got the titanium liners and all that. Tiny titanium backspacer and pocket clip, but they didn't bring it in line with the gold of the rest, which I thought was a little unusual. I guess. And I'll have to think about whether this is going to be a keeper forever thing. Because if it is, I think I'm going to blow this out to Blades We Love and have him do the backspacer and pocket clip in a color as well. And I'm thinking gold, but he might have different ideas. I don't know. But so this is the Orca. Wow, I like it. I really do. I was not disappointed when I got this knife. Interesting. And I haven't used the flipper tab yet in the last 2 minutes. But it flips open as well. Really good. Made by Riot Knives, in China. And so I got to meet Eric at the SHOT Show, 2019 SHOT Show. So it was late January of 2019. I was at the CRKT booth, and there he was. So, he did a little vignette on his Avant, the Ochs design. So, hey, we got a little kind of a bronze color working here too with this one. This is 8CR 14 MOV, one of your favorite steels, I'm sure. But I still like this knife. It's a classy looking knife. I like the design. At least you got right hand, left hand access here. On these, looks like it's right hand only, my friend. I don't see any left hand access. Lanyard hole, though, you do have that. Interesting how he's done these both, with this different pattern here of texturing. And this is really aggressive texturing, compared to this. Nice. There's your lockup. That looks pretty strong. 25%. Centered up. No lock rocker blade play. Easy to open. Same with this. Wow. I mean, this one's a little lighter, I guess, and we're going to put them on the scale and check that out. But you got the Moku tie on this one, so that's That's really nice. I think one guy was saying, you know, it would have been nicer if you'd have done a wider pivot collar there to really pop the Moku tie. So, I mean, it's interesting when you read people's reactions to the knives. I mean, a lot of people who bought these, it's interesting how many will just be wildly excited. One guy says, this is definitely a candidate for knife of the year. You know, it's really that good. And another was, well, a niggle here, and ooh, I think I felt a little thing there, and blah, 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 you know? So I think there's some guys that just will never give a 5-star to anything. So to me, I didn't really notice the issues with fit or problems. I don't know. I guess I'm just not that sensitive. I got so many calluses from handling knives so much that I guess I'm not that sensitive. You got a sharpening choil here. Decent knife. Let's throw a tape on it real quick, just so you can kind of understand what size it is. 3.5-inch blade, 8 inches overall. So a little over 20 centimeters, and you got 90 millimeter blade. Okay, so blade stock, sure, it's the same for both. Oh, by the way, you know, did you see that RWL 34? Okay. So the Bob Lovelace 34. 0.159, so it looks like it's going to be 4 millimeters. Come on, yeah, 4 millimeters all day long. All day long. Better get my big old hefty boy out here. Are you turned on? Dude, okay, here we go. So we're zeroed out. Let's point it. Yeah, 0.58. Let's see if it varies any. Nah, it's pretty much the same. I mean, it's just got me so spooked out. I had a knife recently where it was different. Now 0.58. So I guess we could measure this one too, just to make sure that the G10 and the carbon fiber are the same. Yeah, there we go, 0.58. So they're the same width. They're not the exact same weight, but it's not a huge noticeable difference. You've noticed the satin grind here, and you kind of got the satin grind up and down, and then, of course, side to side, you know, satin flats. I think one of the big deals about this knife, I think the biggest deal about this knife, to me, has been the thumb studs. You know, you can, you know, flick it open with the thumb studs, can't you? Yeah, you can. Thumb, middle finger, however. But, you know, you look at this kind of harpoonish looking blade, and you look at the thumb studs, and I don't know, it's just, I'm thinking if it didn't have thumb studs, it might, I don't know, I think I might almost prefer it. Even though I can flick it open and everything with that, I'm still thinking I might have preferred it with just a flipper tab only deployment. Now, I know that they've done the thumb studs to where they kind of pop with the rest of the hardware. You see that. So it does pull it in to the scheme a bit, but I don't know. I mean, I still can't decide whether I think that's just a real big negative or just a thing. You know, let's call it a matter. One of those matters. Here we go, grams. So let's do the weigh off here while I'm considering this, because the thumb studs. And you just see how he did that? Also, there's 137 grams with the Avant. And I think there's some people that said, you know, it's got IKBS on this, right? So do you really need that? And no, you don't really need the thumb disc there. And if it was not there and that blade went straight across, it'd be a cleaner, more sophisticated look. I mean, you can use the thumb disc. So, I mean, I kind of relate this to, mean, this is his design. These are his designs. It seems like he really likes to either put a thumb stud or a thumb disc somewhere in there. And I get that there's a lot of people that like to flick the knife open and they kind of get into that deal, but 137 grams. 4.84 ounces. Now, let's see how much you save by going carbon fiber. Okay, 4/10, right? So 125 grams. Not a huge weight difference. Not really that I mean, you can kind of feel it, but it's not easy. There's not a lot of differential there, you know. But that's just a pretty knife there. If I would have had the money, I would have jumped and got me one of these too. And I think I would have probably done the purple Moku tie as well. I think for a keeper, for a long-term keeper, and this was more expensive, by the way, a lot more expensive. And it was another option here. Let me see if I can't remember if I think it was like 260 something as opposed to like 140. And I'll try and stick that down here because I wrote it down somewhere and it's not right in front of me. So in any case, here's the paperwork. I mean, you can run through it real quick. But you know, once the drop has gone down, they don't show the pricing here. So it would be something I'll stick in here if I can. And there you go. Oak styling. There was going to be just like 800 of the G10 and 400 of the carbon fiber. So don't know if they're in, whenever I publish this, hopefully they overproduced and they'll have some additional ones to sell after the drop, after all the knives get delivered to everybody, but I don't know. If they do, I want to get a carbon fiber one because this one's going to the Netherlands. This one's staying here. It's not the worst thing in the world. That is, I mean, this is when you can actually just carry and deal with. This one I'd be a little bit more reticent to do that because it's a lot more expensive. And, it's like it was like $110 or $120 additional for this one. And this one, the G10 can really take the beating and really still look great. So there was your different options: forest green, glacier blue, madrone brown, obsidian black, and then the marbled in either the purple or blue. So that was an extra 120. Yeah. RWL 34. So, okay, so that's pretty much it. And then, the most important part, of course, here is your actual, the caged bearings, right hand tip up, lanyard hole, handle thickness and width and all that kind of stuff. Really nice. I really like the knife. It's got great action. And these are both, no lock rock, no blade play, no lock stick. The detent is appropriate for this knife. It's really smooth on the deployment. Can I kick this out? Is there a liner lock? Yes, I can. I'd say it's a 5.0. And some people are like, is everything a 5.0? Is everything a 5.0? No. I mean, there's been some that were 3.5 up to 6.5 or close to 7. But most of them fall in this range just because they do. That's the way they want to set them up. That's the way it's easier to deploy. And you don't want to have too strong a detent. If you're going to make it a finger flickable, then you don't want it painful, to be able to hit these things. They're machined and everything. Probably dig into the tip of your finger after a while and become uncomfortable if the detent was just way too strong. So, yes, they are what they are, This one, a little bit different action feels like, but it probably just varies from unit to unit. Not much, though. I haven't taken them apart or done anything. Not a darn thing. really pretty good. Of course, all these went to his shop, right? Somehow the grind wasn't finished all the way to the back. There was some issue, and you know that skips my mind right now too. But they came in, they went to Massdrop, and then whoops, and they went out to Eric's shop, and I believe Mike Jones from Massdrop went out there, and he did a little video segment of these getting put right with the correct type of edge. And speaking of edge, quit messing around. Yeah. Okay. How about yours, Martin? Oh, it's okay. It'll work. It'll work. The Orca. I like these knives. I really do. The ergos are comfortable on them. You know, you've got this finger choil up here, kind of the swell here. You know, it's comfortable. It's not a big, huge handle here. So the last finger's kind of rolling in back in here a little bit. But that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. I think the ergos are fine. I like the deployment. I like the design. It's one of the better Massdrop ones, you know. The Laconica was really good. Was it the Thresher? Whatever. That was really good as well. Probably the Gavco one was one of the best. I mean, there's been some good, bad, and ugly, but, you know, even the Terzuola Compact Tactical, I thought was fine. And really, most of the Ferrum Forge stuff, it is what it is. If you don't like their design, you don't, but I think the knives were well done. So, yeah. I think, by and large, I really like what Massdrop's doing with these collaborative efforts here. I think it's well thought out, pretty well executed. I'm sure everybody's got an opinion, so we can niggle around on whether they should have done the thumb studs or not. But I think it's a good size. The weight's right. They're set up. They're comfortable. They deploy well. The detent is appropriate. And these are a great looking design. And you could, you know, spend more money and get this really optioned out, or a lot less money and make this something that's not, you know, terrifying to carry and use as a user, because it wasn't that terribly expensive. And this one, a little bit more expensive, and one that I see as more of a proud carry than just a daily beater user type thing, because it's just too damn good looking. What can I say? All right, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. At Love Them Knives, guess what we do? Well, we love them knives. So you guys stay sharp.